Hi, it's Jan Beta, and you probably remember this Sansui 881 stereo receiver that I refurbished in one of the last videos. The remaining problem was that it remained to hum, like a little bit, on both channels and independently of the volume potentiometer, actually. So that led me to believe that it's kind of a capacitor issue. The thing is, I replaced all the electrolytic capacitors that might have gone bad, except for the mains filter capacitors, which are like huge 10,000 microfarad caps. And yeah, I wanted to make sure that the owner wants me to replace them. They usually, as far as my experience goes, they are usually still sufficient for filtering the main voltage supply in these old units, even though they are like 45 years old in this one. This is a 1974 unit, I believe, or 1975, I think, was built from 74 to 75. So I checked with the owner of this unit, and he wanted me to go all the way and paid for Mundorf Mlytic 10,000 microfarad 63 volt capacitors. These are, it's close to esoteric audiophile stuff, but they are just really good caps, and they're rated for like 125 degrees Celsius. And yeah, I can live with this because these are pretty good. And if you buy a 10,000 microfarad cap from another brand that is renowned for good capacitors, you probably pay nearly as much as for these. These are like around 20 euros per cap. So these are pretty expensive, but I think it makes sense if you have something beautiful like this unit to try and bring it to the best level possible. And these are pretty important. Usually you get better bass response if you replace the mains filter caps, because you gain more headroom for the amplifier. So that is it's a pretty decent thing to do, I guess, to this machine. So let's just see if that fixes the hum. And if that doesn't fix the hum, I would have done this anyway at some point. Just didn't have the capacitors last time, and wanted to make sure that which quality of capacitors the owner of this machine wants in there. So we're going all the way with these Mlytic ones. Yeah, let's open it up and see if that fixes the hum. And otherwise, if it doesn't, I have some ideas from your comments that I'm also going to link in the description. There's common problems with this receiver, it seems. So here's the original Nippon Chemicon, I believe. Yes, Nippon Chemicon large 10,000 microfarad caps. And of course they were a lot larger in 1974 compared to the ones today. And these are like 50 volts and the new ones are 63 volts rated, I think. So yeah, they're going to be significantly smaller than these. And to get to the solder joints, we have to open the backplate. Here we have the two filter capacitors from the other side, and as you can see, there's a grounding point here that is connected to them with these copper braid things, or maybe silver braid, I don't know, it's silvery looking. That's the connection to the ground, and there appear to be some ground issues with this particular series of receivers, so it might be that we have to do some fixes there. Otherwise it's pretty straightforward. These are resistors that are added there for quickly discharging the capacitors. So that's basically what I did. I don't know if you have seen any of my vintage audio restorations. I usually use like a lead with a resistor in it to discharge the large capacitors, because otherwise you can get shocked or damage parts of the system, because they usually hold the voltage they are rated for, or something that is pretty close to that, and discharge if you short them out. So to be safe, you have to discharge them, and then you can work on the circuitry. Yeah, what I want to do is to make a picture of this and then remove them, check the resistors, I guess. Maybe those are a bit wonky. And then replace them with the new ones. And I really want to desolder them first, I think. And just, yeah. I'm just going to do that. Just desolder them, and then they have to unscrew the holders from the backside. Yeah, it's easier said than done. This has been really thoroughly wound around there. Maybe I'm just clipping the leads. That's probably easier. I should just clip the leads. There should be enough room. So now let's remove the holders from the other side. So this is a bit difficult to film, but there are 2 screws each. I should just be able to remove those, and then they should just come out. Yeah, this has already come loose. For these old capacitors, there's one black spot on one of the legs, and it says negative black. So this is the designator for the negative side of the capacitor in this case. Wow. Yeah, they were in there pretty good too. So the size difference is pretty significant, as you can see, obviously. I have to come up with something so that these are going to halfway fit inside there. Don't know how I'm going to do that yet. So I made up my mind a bit, and I think the thing I want to do is to just use some thick electrical tape and wind it around there until it reaches this diameter, because that way we don't have to do any extra layers of whatever plastic, metal that I would have to put in there to hold them in place, and we can just clamp them down with these clamps as they are supposed to be clamped down. And also this stuff takes a while to deteriorate. I think this is pretty good stuff. Let's see how well that goes, I guess. Yeah, pretty close already. That's not too bad. Okay, so that's a quick way of doing it, it seems. There we go. It does look a bit strange, but it's going to work, I guess. Yep. There we go. So it looks pretty good so far. They hold in pretty well, and yeah. What I'm going to do now is to check the resistors, if they are still good. And it's like 3.3 kilo ohms, and the other one should be the same. 3.3 kilo ohms, so these are most likely good. So I'm just going to solder it back in, as it was. Okay, doesn't look too bad. I have to check the ground connections here, because that was one of the main issues. People said that it's crucial to have a good ground connection, and the design of the grounds on this PCB is flawed, or the grounds in general are a bit flawed. So I'm just going to resolder this stuff here and clean up the part under the screw, this screw here, which has like a washer. So reflowing this and cleaning the screw. Tightening the screws as well, because the ground connection of the board is pretty crucial. Okay, so I think could do a little test. So now also re-screwed the screws in the circuit boards here, and these ground connection. I reflowed the solder. Hope that this does anything. Let's see. Okay, for now let's just hope this doesn't blow up right away. And then on second thought, let's see if the hum's gone, maybe, hopefully. Okay, didn't blow up. And the hum, if you have the volume down, the hum is completely gone. It's completely silent. That's great. Okay, there seems to be some hum in the signal path. That's very little hum. Okay, bit of hum is still going on there. But it got a lot better. Nice. So that's a good thing. Okay. So it got a lot better. And it sounds crystal clear. There's still a very subtle hum that I don't know if I want to fix that. There is like a There is a way to fix it, I think, because basically they screwed up the grounding on the PCB, as I mentioned before. But this is like the original state this was in, so I'm not sure what to do at this point, because these things hum a little bit. It got significantly better replacing the mains filter caps, which obviously had some issues because they are like 45 years old, and the other capacitors also had some issues, probably. So it got a lot better, but it's not completely gone. And it appears to be in the signal path. So if I turn the volume up, the hum gets a bit louder. And there's like still, if you get very close to the speakers, there's still some hum going on from the mains voltages too, I think. But that's so subtle that it doesn't matter much to me. I think I have to ask the current owner of the unit if he wants me to fix it, because that will be an operation that changes the signal flow completely. So at least the signal flow of the ground stuff. I have to cut traces and have to rewire stuff. That's linked below in the description. There's a whole like a very nice tutorial on how to do that on a little website that I'm going to link below. I don't know if I should do that because I like to keep stuff original, and it's not that bad. It's really, really. I mean, I'm an audio engineer. I'm trained to hear stuff like that in like a mix, and I can barely hear it. So it's really, really good. It's really low. I don't know if I should fix it. I'd rather if I had to decide, I'd rather keep it this way. So yeah. I have to ask him about it. Maybe I'll invite him over and let him have a listen and then decide whether to change that or not. So I just had a conversation with my colleague who this belongs to, and he said, if I say it's alright, he's gonna live with the little hum that's left. I don't know if you can hear it. It is there. I can barely hear it from here. And if you turn the volume down, it's very insignificantly there. And we decided on leaving it in this state. If you have hum issues and it's too much for you, you can check out the description. I offered to him if he gets this connected to his speakers and the hum is still getting on his nerves, I'm going to take it back and rework it and do the mods that are suggested in the little tutorial. I'm just going to leave it as is now because that is the original state, or as close to the original state as I could restore it to with my limited knowledge and tools that I have here. So hope he's satisfied with this. I am very pleased with how this turned out and hope you learned something. So maybe if it's just that Sansui messed up the ground stuff on the PCBs in this series. So thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you stay tuned for more. There's more retro computer stuff coming up very soon. If you want to support me, give this a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Check out my Patreon page if you like this enough to pay me some money for this. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you on this channel sometime again. I'm Jan Beta. See you next time. Bye.